there is one concept that is incredibly powerful within the framework of living in a simulated universe that is probably the easiest to understand but the most difficult to implement. And that is the simple act of not giving up. Now, I'm currently rereading Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, which is probably the most famous and one of the first books on personal development. And there's a story in there which I've mentioned before about stopping 3 foot from gold, where there was this person that went during the gold rush. This guy hired this equipment and did pretty well mining for gold, and then it suddenly dried up. So he sold up his equipment, but he sold it to somebody who knew a bit more about gold and paid for some people to do some research. And with gold, you have these sort of veins of gold under the rock, and he knew that if he just drilled a bit further, and of course 3 feet later he struck gold and made an absolute fortune. They found way more gold than the original guy. And it's worth bearing that in mind whenever you're thinking about giving up. And I've thought about giving up on things before many times. At the point of recording this video at the moment, I'm getting around 2 views per video. I think a lot of people would have given up, and it has, of course, it does go through your mind. And actually there's something within YouTube, for anybody that ever creates YouTube videos, called the Valley of Death, and that is where YouTube basically is trying to test your video against different audiences until it finds the right match, and then it can suddenly explode. It can go from 0 to 100, in a matter of minutes, in days. But during that period, it just feels like nothing's happening, and you look around and you see other people being successful. Maybe they've only done 30 videos or 20 videos, and then suddenly they're getting thousands and thousands of views and whatnot. And it'd be very difficult to give up. But I always think about that stopping 3 feet from gold. In YouTube terms, it could be 3 videos. You stop 3 videos before everything suddenly takes off for you. But going back to Napoleon Hill, I was listening to a passage that from one of his talks, and he said that very often before success there will be this kind of final test to see whether you really want it. Do you really have that burning desire to get what it is that you want? And that's when most people give up. So if you're ever trying something and it just feels like it's not happening, take that as a positive, because it could be that you are now going through that final test. It's seeing what you can withstand. Can you keep going regardless? Because I think with many things about being successful is about consistency. Everybody, when they're excited about something, it's very easy to get pumped up about something at the beginning, right? It's like people go to, some of these kind of conventions or these talks. Tony Robbins is amazing, of course, he is amazing. But I know a lot of people go to them and they get really pumped up and stuff, and it's very high energy and all that kind of stuff, and everyone jumping up and down. And then you get back, and then after a week or so, that's kind of worn off, and then you're back to where you were. It's actually doing little things that's going to take you in the right direction, but just doing it bit by bit. And sorry to wheel out all of the cliches, but what is it? A journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, something like that. I've probably just butchered that saying. But do keep that in mind. Just don't give up, and the simulation will reward you. And also you can argue that the software, the coding, is kind of reworking itself. They're recoding the software in the simulation to make way for your new path, because it's not easy. If suddenly, for no reason, you suddenly became successful, that can create what's called a paradox. It's like it would seem weird to everyone else how that suddenly happened. Things sometimes have to gradually change in order for you to get on that new track. And remember, things can change in an instant. You can change your state, your thought, just like that, just by deciding what it is you want and taking those definite plans. So hope that's useful too. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care.